A warm welcome and welcome to the Wednesday night edition, the 22nd of April of Goodwin Boxing Live. And tonight we've got quite a few guests. We've got four guests on, four very special guests. And they're going to be starting on at 7 o'clock. And we're looking forward to an interesting show. To let you know the four people in reverse order that we have on today, at around about 7:30, we have on the Supremo from York Hall, Paul Spencer. He runs York Hall, and he's going to tell us about how he envisages boxing coming back at the venue and how he sees things and what he's doing during the lockdown period. Just before him, we have Tom Ansell. Now, Tom Ansell is a young man who has only had one loss in his career. He's been boxing at welterweight, will be coming down to light welterweight. And he's got a tremendous amount to tell you about his career, where he's going and what he's doing and his experience before. He was involved in a BT Sport fight called Ultimate Combat, if you remember that. And Tom Ansell came from there to professional boxing. Before Tom, we've got current two-version world champion Terri Harper, who is probably the biggest success story, in my opinion, in boxing today. And we do start off with former two-time Central Area champion, fought for the English title, fought Amir Khan, and is now a brilliant manager and a very successful promoter in Doncaster, Stefy Ball. And we're going to start off with Stefy. I'm going to see if he's here. It'd be good to have a chat with him. Let's see if we can find him. See if we can find Stefy. Probably one of the most successful managers in the country, without a shadow of a doubt. Here he is.
How are you, Steve?
How are you? Good?
Good, man.
Are you fit? What are you up to during this lockdown, apart from nothing? Is it sending
Well,
you crazy?
I've grown a beard, need an haircut, and I'm doing a lot of running and a lot of bicycles, but it's just Groundhog Day, innit? Very boring. But we're staying home, we're staying safe, and hopefully we're motivating others to do the same, and we might be able to get back doing what we do best once everything's under control.
Yeah, I mean, what's it like? What's the feeling up north? Are most people adhering to it up there?
Yeah, I mean, we're from a little village, so it's not as bad as, you know, the closest city to us is Sheffield, and then you go on to Manchester and so on. But being from a little village, I don't think it's as bad as in and around these areas. Whereas you're going into cities and things, a lot of people are playing the game, but you know, you're going to get your majority that's not doing as they should. But that's life, innit? We can hold our hands up, and we're doing as best, and that's what counts.
And what's your gut? I know it's a $6 million question. I mean, I have my own views, but what's your gut feeling about when boxing comes back and in what form?
Well, I like to see your views. I class you as I were only telling Terri about you. This was random only last week, and I says, Steve, Steve comes up with some sensible theories and things, and I seen one of your tweets weeks ago when it was just kicking in, and how severe this really is, and the knock-on effect. And I didn't really look at it, the bigger picture, but the more I'm rolling with it now and understanding things. To be fair, Steve, I'm not even bothered if I don't promote again this year. That's what I've got in my own head, because at our end, you know more than anybody, we work on bums on seats and ticket sales. Fighters get paid on how successful they do. And at the end of the day, how many people's going to, September time, October time, still after summer, how many people's going to be having spare money to be coming to events? With current situation, you know, 90% of people are not even in work. So who's going to have the confidence to come in paying £100 for a ringside ticket to come to one of our events, to sit potentially outside of someone who could have a life-threatening virus? And that is the logic of it. So I don't think you can put stress on fighters to expect them to sell tickets to run these events. Now, the problem we're going to get, and you're going to agree with this, is every fighter's going to want work. Every fighter's we'll do tickets. They're fighters. We're the promoters who's risking our money to get them work. Now, it's okay them wanting to fight, but theoretically, somebody who does 100 tickets on average I will guarantee them they'll be straight down to 50 tickets.
Correct.
Because they're not going to be. It's going to be friends and family who will be diehard following them. The average Joe's not at work. The average Joe's not going to want to sit next to Brian, who's got this virus potentially, or so. It is quite worrying for us at the small end. Now, obviously, what is going to happen? Boxing will happen behind closed doors, thick and fast, and that probably happen as soon as July. I believe that and I know that Sky Sports, BT, etc. need live content. There's no live sports, so they will get special permission. Things will happen, and I think people who are contracted, such as Terri, who will be on next, she will be defending in July, and there'll be shows thick and fast. And you make it would be very interesting, like something else that you picked up on, where purses will be as well, because if you're not going to take that fight, then the next man's going to take it. So you're not going to be in a bargaining position to argue good purses for fighters, because there's going to be that many people desperate to be getting work. Because moral of the story is I am worried about risking promoting myself again this year, because it's us that's taking the risk financially.
Well, I think whoever comes up and goes to promote at the wrong time, you're going to have a plethora of cancelled shows, or you're going to have promoters that are going to lose 20 grand on a show. But there is no other way until there is a vaccine, until people are confident to go. It's just
1,000,000%. Not only that, it's all right. The bigger companies such as Matchroom, they can go behind closed doors. They've got the TV budget. That's fine. That is going to happen. But when it comes to us, who's going to say that venues are going to let more than 500 in? I can't see that happening. Mass gatherings, it's going to be impossible. So how can you put a show on with and expect 500 people to? It's not going to work. You know the maths. It's not going to work. You need for a 10-fight bill, you need at least 1,000 people in your venue to break even.
I just done an interview with the Sun newspaper during the last week, and I predicted that small hall, based on, remember what I do for my proper job, the financial side. So based on everything and the potential of a virus coming out, I said if I was a betting man, I would say March next year. That was my view. If I was a betting man, I'm not saying it can't happen before, but as we sit here today, there's a likelihood we'll have a vaccine by then. And people might have started to recover economically. I'm not saying it can't be before then, but I think for us, that's probably favourite.
Yeah, there could be a lot of changes for us. It may be even worth. I've even had thoughts of getting a group of promoters together, and once you can have meetings about how we all could stay to progress, such as agreements on agreed purses, rather than like say, you know how it works nowadays with fighters wanting 50-50 ticket deals. Somebody does 200 tickets. It's impossible to going to be doing that in near future to get boxing alive, because we're not going to get the numbers in. So I've got dates set from September onwards throughout the year, but it's just going to be impossible, and that's the truth of it. And fighters really, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, one of my fighters asked if we were going to do it behind closed doors, and I had to explain that it's just not possible for us to do it. It's impossible.
It's just impossible for us. We ain't got £20,000 spare to put an event behind closed doors on to run a 6 or 7 fight bill where for fighters to fight journeyman kind of thing. It's just impossible. It's no good. Whereas, like we spoke about, TV can do that. They need content, and that's what will happen. They'll come thick and fast from July. Every Saturday night, I'm predicting there's going to be live boxing on, domestic clashes. People are going to take fights that they would never have dreamed of taking. We probably will get more 50-50 fights for domestic titles and maybe international titles. And I do think fighters should start maybe thinking about getting this ends ready, because us as managers who work and get good opportunities with Matchroom and things, we're probably going to get fighters, and we'll have to sit them down and like, you may have to take the opportunity.
The fighters at that level, definitely. I think the ones that are the baby ones, the ones that are just starting out and aren't ready for anything like that.
Yeah, we've got fighters that are area title level, English title level, British title level. Yeah. We've got them thick and fast. Now they're the ones that will get opportunities. Whereas the 6-round fighters, it's going to be, you know, when content comes on TV, unless you're a matchroom fighter, you're not going to be on them cards and things. You know, it's going to be probably 5 fight cards behind closed doors. But I think at the minute it's going to just be exciting for us to at least get some live content.
I agree. We're missing it, aren't we? I mean, having no live sport is driving me crazy.
It's crazy. It's like really, when you really, I think as humans we learn to acclimatise with what's happening. But when you really sit back and think about it, it's a crazy, crazy time, and it's a big part of history where our kids and grandkids and so on, they'll be doing history and this at schools for years to come. It's unbelievable, really.
So let's talk about something positive rather than the negatives of everything. So for you, boxer, trainer, manager, promoter, what's the
everything
best? What's the best thing?
The most enjoyable is definitely training. I'd be mad to say promoting's enjoyable. The only reason I promote is because it come naturally, and you know yourself. If you want to get your fighters the best opportunities, you have to promote to get them there, because you ain't gonna get them. So that's us. It's very stressful. How many nights before a show we're scratching our heads? What we're losing? Are we breaking even? So I won't say that's enjoyable at all. Managing, I think you've just got to have a bit of savvy around you, and you can do a good job. But you've got to have good fighters to become a good manager, and I think you all agree with that. You can't just be a great manager and expect, you know, you've got to have good fighters to learn how to become a good manager. Training fighters, I've got that little knack again since I've been working with Terri and Anthony Tomlinson and a couple of other fighters that are back in gym. I've got that knack and enjoyable again. So I am missing training fighters at the minute.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I say to a lot of boxers, without being disrespectful to managers at the lower level who don't promote, I think that's a very difficult job for a manager to do that job. If you've got to sometimes put your money behind them in a promotional aspect, because without that, it's very difficult.
We'll get slated many times because we're managers and we're promoters, and we get a lot of stick. But if you're not in the game, you will never understand it. You have got to be in boxing to understand how the business of it works. And that people come to York Hall, they come to Doncaster Dome, they can see 1,000 people in that venue. They think we're going home to go and buy a flash car on the back of it. They don't realise we're sweating and wondering how it's all going to get paid for when you've got your eye at all, your security. It's crazy. It can cost us layout of 20 grand just to put an event on.
That's right. People don't realise that, do they? They don't realise that.
So we're sweating. How are we going to sell 20 grand's worth of tickets just to break even?
And that's without paying the away boxes, right? So
exactly.
That's no box on your page.
Exactly. So it's an hard situation to be in when you're a promoter, because shots get fired at us, when really all we've got is this fighter's best interest at heart, and there's no bullshit about it. If a fighter can sell tickets and put bums on seats, we can do a job. It's when you've got a fighter that can't sell tickets and struggles. They're lovely kids, but the job virtually, not impossible, but it becomes very, very hard. And that's when it puts a strain on a manager-boxer relationship, because they seeing, let's call it Brian doing 500 tickets, getting paid well, winning every show. And then they're boxing harder opponents because they come a little bit cheaper, and they're wondering why. It's an hard graft, mate. It's an hard graft, and only people in boxing understands how it all works.
Yeah, but I mean, you've been a massive success story with what you've done up there. I often say to boxers, that I'm signing. I actually have got a personal view. I don't think there's many good managers in the UK boxing wise. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I always tell boxers, I never tell them who's no good. I always tell them who is good. You've got something good to say, and I always use you as an example. And that was before you got done the job you've done with Terri, which I thought was amazing. I mean, the job you've done with her, I think she's the biggest success story in female boxing for me.
Yeah,
tell me a bit about your story together.
Well, Terri was like, when Terri were from our amateur club, we've always had a strong amateur background. One of my good pals, Paul Juros, we've always been together from day dot. He's a fantastic amateur coach. He's got no intentions of being in professional boxing, and that's where his thing lies. But Terri come from our amateur club as an 11-year-old child when she first walked in, and at that time we had Jamie McDonald, world champion. We had a Gavin, British champion. We had Robbie Barrett, who were up, and we've always had a strong stable. So Terri had been in the thick of seeing what you've got to do to be successful. And as between 11 and 16, she won 3 national titles. She won a silver medal at the Europeans, and she was just on verge of getting on the England setup. But Terri has always, like, what you're seeing now is not just happened overnight. As you know, a lot of work goes on behind closed doors, but Terri has always been naturally gifted, real special fighter as a child. And when she walked away, she didn't realise how good she was, or how good she could be. You're not seeing that as a child. So we were all gutted kind of when she did fizzle out. But literally, it was like Katie Taylor were on Sky. Obviously, we working with Matchroom, that you could see what they were heavily investing in women's boxing. And I just sent her a random message, just like, I've even got them. It has been out and about, just saying, Terri, you'd be crazy not to jump on back of this and have some. And she just fired back straight away, and we hooked up on that. Must have been a fight night on a Saturday. Hooked up on a Monday, signed a contract, and within 2 years, she got a unit. She were at university doing working at local chip shop, and she just landed on IBO, WBC, big deal with Matchroom, and they're really pushing her, they're really backing her. So it's exciting times, and she's only 23-year-old.
Yeah, no, you've done a brilliant job, mate. Listen, yeah. I hope she's the first of many world champions you have, because I think the way you operate, you're going to get a few of them. So
yeah, fingers crossed.
So thanks a lot for coming on, mate.
Nice to see your face.
We're going to speak to your prodigy now.
Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
Take care, Steph.
Take it easy, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. That was Stefy Ball, one of the best managers there is in the game and promoters. He's been responsible for bringing Terri Harper to the world title, and we're going to now touch base with Terri if we can find her on here. Okay, let's try and dig Terri up. Try and dig her out. Get through here. Here we go. Here we go. Let's find Terri on here. See if we can find her. It's not there. Let's go back. Try again. Here we go. Hopefully Terri's going to be here in a second. Just see if we can get her. Here we go. Let's see if we can. Just waiting for him to come on board. Terri, how are you? Sorry about that. We had a bit of a technical problem there, getting hold of you. So just spoke to your mentor and main man, Stefy. So
yeah.
I mean, it's been a great story for me watching you, because since when women's boxing came on, I was a big pioneer of it. I was trying to encourage a lot of female boxing down in London, and I think it's just been great. And it's easy. I mean, I helped Nicola Adams for a bit. But it's okay when you're Nicola or Katie that you've come through the Olympic setup and you're sort of given it. And I don't mean totally given it, but whereas you've had to go from the bottom through the small hall, build up your following. I mean, tell us about how. I mean, Stefy said that you rushed through and did it. Did you find the first stage of ticket selling difficult, or was that quite easy for you?
Yeah. So I always say I've been quite lucky. Like obviously with my partner Jenna, she's a big group of friends, big family, so she really helped sell me them tickets at the beginning. I probably was selling around 50 tickets, and that were it at the beginning of my career. And then from then, it's like the whole village just kind of got behind me. And then obviously getting on these bigger shows. I was saying to Andrew other week, that it just seems like my ticket sales are doubling every time I'm back out. So yeah, they're like, I think my profile is definitely building.
I tell you, your partner's a character seeing her on television, isn't she?
Oh God, I said to her, I said, Jenna, behave, because camera's gonna be on you that night. And then yeah,
if that was her behaved, I'd like to see what she's like not behaved.
Oh God, no, you don't. But Jenna's Jenna. What you see is what you get, and she's a good character. So I won't change her.
Yeah. So I mean, were you astonished that you made such strides so quickly, or was it a shock to you how quickly it moved for you?
Yeah. I can remember coming back to the sport and just being so happy that I was back involved in doing something that I love. So like, I love boxing on the small hall shows. I love Donny Dome, Barnes and Metrodome. So yeah, I love that, and I was just glad and happy to be back doing what I loved. And I always say Stefy kind of give me that second chance. So Andrew always saying to me, I'm going to make you a star one day. I'm going to make you lots of money. I'm going to make you a star. And it's kind of come around a lot quicker than what we imagined. And I know Andrew says the same to me. It's come around a lot quicker, but we're here and we're enjoying it.
Well, when you think about it, fight number 8, you were the IBO world champion, weren't you? Where you won it at the Donny Dome, and then you've done 2 defences on Sky. I mean, what's been your best experience so far?
It's got to be the fight with Eva, the fact, obviously for the WBC world title, but the fact that for me, I always lacked confidence and self-belief. So the fact that I went in there with such a great champion who's had numerous defences on the belt, and then I went out and comfortably won her, that were kind of for me to give myself a pat on back and be like, Terri, you are meant to be, and you are good at what you do, not being big-headed or anything. But yeah, I think it's starting to sink in for me that I am good at what I do, and I do deserve to be on the big stage.
I'm really surprised you lack confidence. That really has surprised me, because I thought in the ring you don't lack confidence, do you? You command the ring and you do your stuff. You'd never know that. Really surprised. Really surprised.
Do you know, if you tried to get me on here 2 years ago, there would have been no chance. Live interviews, even phone interviews, I were terrible. But I've kind of learned how to deal with them now, so it's all good.
So your next fight obviously is a good fight for you, because you're going to fight somebody that the British public know, with Natasha Jonas, obviously, because she was in the Olympics. I mean, what sort of threat do you think she poses to you?
So again, it's a good fight. I think it's a good profile builder for me as well, that fight with Tasha domestically. So for me, I think it's the southpaw style with Tasha. Like, it's not, I've only ever fought one southpaw as an amateur, and then Claudia Lopez as a professional. So yeah, that's definitely an advantage she's got. But I just, once we're back in the gym, I work closely alongside Jason Cunningham, just rounds after rounds, technical work, sparring. Andrew was southpaw as well as a boxer, so he knows the little tricky shots that he teaches me. So yeah, it's just getting it drilled into you and just getting used to that style. I know before the lockdown happened, I was getting a lot of rounds in with Jason, and I was starting to feel comfortable in the ring and knowing how to move and watching out for them odd shots. But yeah, once we're back into the gym, we'll get cracking and I'll get used to it.
Now, she's a quality fighter, so to take her scalp will be a great move for you, because I mean, Eva Wallstrom was the big name, but she would have been known more by the boxing purists rather than this. But Natasha's wider known in the community by people that aren't necessarily boxing, so that helps to have fights against people that people know. I think that's what helps. So
yeah, definitely. I think that's why Eddie really pushed for that. Obviously, I've got mandatories now as a WBC world champion. I know there's a few girls that are few women that are upset that I'm fighting Tasha, and obviously not mandatories, but it makes sense for a domestic fight with Tash before we move on.
And she's always wanted to get a world title shot anyway, so she gets the benefit of fighting you, and you get the benefit. It's a perfect fight. So I want to wish you all the best in that fight. And I watch your career, and you're an example to all females that come to me that I sign. I've signed a few females recently, and I always use you as an example of how it's done perfectly. So I wish you all the best, and I wish you all the best in your career. And I'm sure you're going to add many world titles to your night show. And thanks a lot for joining us, Terry. And
no, thanks for having me.
You didn't lack any confidence tonight. So
I can feel myself doing red.
Take care, Terry.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
And that was Terri Harper, WBC and world champion. And from somebody that's currently a champion to somebody who wants to be a champion, and that's Tom Ansell, very talented young man who's now dropping down to light welterweight for titles. So while we're doing this, I'm having to look through to try and find him on here. Got quite a lot of names to go through, so let's just have a quick look. Spare me a second to try and find Tom. Let's try and find Tom. He's got an 8-1 record, Tom. Here he is. Tom, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Just training, mate. Training. So all I can do at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's difficult, but it's been difficult for you. You've not been working or anything like that? You just
No, I'm a personal trainer, so obviously all gyms are closed at the moment. So I'm not working. So literally just trying to pass the time, just trying to it's so boring being in lockdown, but the only thing you can do is really train.
Because really, as I was saying, that you were hunting for title shots this year, weren't you? That was going to be your main aim this year. And obviously down at light welterweight. And talk about your career. You're 8-1, so tell everybody who doesn't know anything about you how your career's gone so far.
I think my career's gone quite well so far. See, I had that minor blip, but I've been on big shows, been on David Hay Promotions, Haymaker Promotions, been on Matchroom, obviously been on your shows as well. Ticket sales all gone well, so hopefully I can push on in the new year. As soon as we start fighting again, I want to push on, want to be in the 50-50 fights. That's why on lockdown you've got to stay ready, because I think if fighters aren't staying ready at the moment, managers like yourself, we're only going to have 2 or 3 week camps, so we need to be not at our peak but close to hitting our peak, and then get all the sparring and pad work done, hit the peak as soon as we're ready, then get the 50-50 fights in.
And we go. I mean, the interesting thing is, I'd probably say you've had one loss, and people will look at somebody and go, "Oh, the guy's 8-1, and he lost to Chris Adaway." What I'd point out as an example here is Anthony Crolla. I think it was in his 9th fight, lost to Yusuf Al Hamidi, who was a journeyman. I think he went on to lose about 100 fights, and it just shows you that if anybody that discounted Anthony Crolla because he lost to a journeyman was so wrong, the man became a world champion. It really doesn't matter. This zero is so unimportant nowadays. It's about learning from it. And I know you won't say it, but I know you didn't have the proper preparation for that fight and probably shouldn't have gone through with it in hindsight. But I mean, at light welterweight, you're going to be a very, very strong man. I think that's your weight category, isn't it, going forward?
I think just now, even being on lockdown and having the freedom to still eat what you want, I'm only a few pounds over like welter, so I feel comfortable, I feel strong, fit. I think I'm going to cause everyone troubles at that category.
And you've got a good trainer in Tony Pill. He's a young man making good strides in the game. He's a good man as well, isn't he?
Yeah, that's probably one of the best decisions I've made, is to go with Tony, to be honest. I've learned so much. He's a role model and a good friend as well. But he's always got my back, and I'm always learning. Like, I get excited turning up to training because I know I'm going to learn something, and it's always challenging.
It was good. I mean, to be honest, that's my job part of the time. It's to introduce, when the fighter's out of a training, he hasn't got one, is to try and match them up. And I'm glad that this worked out well for you, because he's a very good man, Tony, and he's going to have many champions. And I think you'll probably be the first. I think so.
Oh, hopefully.
So what's your life like outside boxing? Apart from personal training and boxing, tell us a bit more about your life, and also, just before we go into that, about what happened, because you didn't have the amateur experience. People don't realise that. But you fought in that BT competition, didn't you?
Yeah, I fought in the BT competition called Total Combat, which was pretty much one 6-minute round, and you have a timer going down, and then you have a set amount of money, and as the time goes down, the money goes down, and pretty much to win the money, you got to knock them out. So I've done quite well in that. I fought a guy from Malta who was just about to turn pro, and I dropped him twice in the BT show. And that was good because I only had a week preparation. I was fighting at light heavy in that competition. So yeah, light heavy. So well, from my rugby days, I used to have quite a bit of weight on me. Most of it stored in my cheeks, but no, it was good. It was good experience, and good to have that professional background at such a almost at the start of my career, really. I'd only had a couple of fights when I got into that. So, no, it was good. But mainly growing up, I was all about rugby. Then I stepped into the boxing gym just to get fit for pre-season for rugby. Then ended up sparring and knocking people out. So it was good. It was nice to get into the boxing gym.
So what are your aspirations? I know your aspirations to start off and go for a Southern Area title and start there, but where do you realistically believe you can end up?
I realistically believe I'll be English champ. And then I want to be British champ, and then if I can get further than that, brilliant. But the domestic titles is where I want to be.
And I think when you've had an experience of fighting on the bigger shows, it gives you that sort of buzz to want to get back there again, but be the live TV fighter and be the star of the show, really, doesn't it? I think that's...
Yeah, 100%. Being on that Matchroom show, just going to the day before weigh-ins and the exposure you get was fantastic for me, and that's built my fan base up quite a bit. But like I said, if I could be a live fighter on Sky Sports shows, on BT shows, then someone coming from unlicensed boxing to going onto a live show, that's phenomenal.
But it can happen. There's been unlicensed boxers. Nick Blackwell, for example, he was British champion, wasn't he? And it does happen.
Yeah.
Nick Purdy, they came straight from the unlicensed. There's plenty of them. And again, I think definitely at light welter or super lightweight, I think you're going to be a handful for anybody at that weight for sure. So I think we're going to have some exciting times ahead. So
yeah, I can't wait.
well, you want to know it's going out in a press release tomorrow, but I want to thank you very much for re-signing with us. Because for those of you that are watching, Tom's just signed a new 3-year contract with us, and that's always an honour for us because it means that somebody has been happy with what we've done, and then they come again. So it's all coming out tomorrow. But I want to thank you because you're on here for doing that and putting your faith in us, and we're going to deliver your titles. That's for sure.
No, thank you, Stephen. Thank you to the rest of the Goodwin team for the last 3 years. So hopefully we'll have exciting next 3 years coming up.
Exactly, I'm sure it will. We'll keep it there. But thanks a lot for coming on tonight, Tom. Really appreciate you joining us. And
thank you very much.
Very soon.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers, Tom. And that was Tom Ansell, a future champion, a very talented young man who's going to make big strides. So we've had a boxer manager trainer, we've had a world champion boxer, we've had a future champion boxer. Now we've got a man who, behind the scenes, makes sure that the boxing all takes place at York Hall, Bethnal Green. So we're going to have some boxing stories from Paul Spencer, the main man at York Hall, and hopefully he's here. So we'll be able to dig. Here we go. Got him. People don't realise what goes on behind the scenes with boxing, and Paul Spencer is one of those men that makes it happen. How are you, Paul?
I'm good, Steve. How are you, mate?
I'm not bad. So you're doing some voluntary work, aren't you, in the lockdown?
Yeah, I've done a bit of volunteering to help with the NHS. It's mainly I've been asked to deliver medicine to people and that. It's nothing major, nothing like what the nurses and that are doing.
No, of course, but it's still helping people, helping the system tick over because, I mean, without all the people like you helping out, it's a lot of people wouldn't be getting their stuff, would they?
No, if we can help in some small way. I mean, our company's donated PPE and stuff like that as well, so every little helps.
Okay, that's really good because I mean the PPE's a big thing at the moment, isn't it? So we just have to see. So York Hall at the moment it's totally shut down, is it? As we sit here today.
Yeah, we're completely shut. Obviously, as you know, it's not just the events we have there. You've got the leisure centre and the spa and that. It's all shut obviously at the moment. So yeah, it's weird time.
Yeah, so it's good. So how long have you been at York Hall then, running the events there?
Well, I've been the general manager there for 4 years, almost to the day. I started on the 20th of April 2016. So yeah, almost 4 years now, or just over 4 years actually. Yeah.
And what was you doing before York Hall?
So I was working in the leisure industry, but mainly I was a personal trainer before. I done a bit of kickboxing, instructing, and then I got into management and was sort of an assistant manager, and then moved to York Hall.
Okay. And how have you found dealing with boxing people in general about names? Are they quite challenging or are we all quite challenging at times to deal with, or is it fairly straightforward and easy?
I think now it's fairly straightforward and easy. Once you build a relationship and you build that and you've got that communication with, and like I say, I've known you for a few years now, you get to know everybody. And yeah, all promoters are kind of different. There's challenges. If it's a live TV show, obviously there's different challenges, and some promoters are more difficult than others. Some are very easy to work with, very laid back. Yeah, I won't name any names, but some of them have been quite difficult. It's mainly the people that are quite new to it. I think you kind of have to guide them through everything. Of someone like yourself, I know how a Goodwin show runs. You know how it runs at York Hall, and we very rarely have too many problems. And if we do, obviously, it's sorted pretty quickly. But I think when people, sort of new promoters, get into it and they think, a couple of your other guests have touched on it, where they don't realise what goes into it, and they think they can make a quick buck out of it, and you can't.
No, it's really weird. It's surprising how many people think that promoters make fortunes of money.
Yeah,
and it's mad. And do you know what I always say to them? I always say, go and do it. Go and do a show, and then just do one show, and then come and tell me, because that's the most frustrating thing is that people think they can do it, and they want to tell people, like, you know, whether it be me or Lee Eaton, who knows just joined, or any other promoter, and they say, oh, your mate's so much fun, we can do that, you should do it this way. You go, come and do it, because you only got to do it once, and then trust me. I mean, you'll find it hard. I mean, Tommy Dove, who was a lovely man, was he working when he was promoting when you were there?
Yeah, we done a few shows with him, but yeah, really nice guy. But yeah, I know kind of.
But he lost all his money doing it.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was a shame. He was a really nice bloke.
He was, but unfortunately, it's just so difficult, and it's the biggest annoyance that I have in boxing, where people try and tell us that we're doing this or we're doing that. Go and bloody do it. Don't tell me. Go and put this fight on, and this will sell it out. And you're not a promoter, and they go on the internet and make internet, and they start talking about promoting. Go and do it, and then when you've done it, then we'll have the conversation. It's so annoying, but yeah, it's how it goes. So obviously, we don't know when we're all restarting again. I mean, I suppose we're just sitting waiting, aren't we, for the announcement of the government. And your problem as a venue is behind closed doors is where it's going to start at. That's for sure. That's not where you make your money, is it?
No, and that's funny, because I see, obviously, you mentioned Lee, and he's joined. I had a chat with him the other day about potentially doing behind closed doors with MTK, because we said their golden contract booked in for semi-finals and finals, and obviously they've lost that, so we want to get that back on. But no, we make the money from when there's a crowd in there on the bar. We don't really make anything on the hire of the hall. But again, you know what the costs are in putting it on, and then for the venue, obviously we have costs of staffing, we have to think about security. Obviously, and stuff like that as well. So yeah, we generally, I mean, it costs us. I won't go into what. There's very little money in it, or sometimes no money in it, unless it's obviously we've got a big crowd in, and we take money over the bar.
Yeah, because I mean, the only ones that are going to be able to go behind closed doors realistically are going to be the golden contracts. Matchroom shows or Frank Warren shows, because small hall, we've got no TV revenue, so we can't run behind closed doors. And again, nobody knows when that's going to happen. But I mean, these big events need to happen, and hopefully they'll get behind closed doors as soon as the doctors can attend and as soon as they can test everybody. But yeah, I mean, I think realistically that's first, but I'm not sure that we're going to get the venue flooding until we've got a vaccine, and that's a problem for venues like York Hall, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive issue with the behind closed doors. We'll get them on. We want to work with the promoters we've worked with, and we want to help them out. But for someone like yourself, like you said, you can't run it behind closed doors. You'll lose 20 grand or something like that. You were saying earlier on, and with us, I mean, the revenue that we're losing at the moment is going to be hard But so obviously, as soon as we get back and we get up and running again, it'll be great. I mean, that first show, it's going to be pretty.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be itching to get in there. But yeah, like you say, there's so many things that have to be in place before we can get on. Like you say, I was talking to someone the other day, and they was like, "Well, as soon as the lockdown's lifted, you can put a show on." Well, no, because there might be a restriction on numbers. The medics, that's the key thing as well. Probably not going to be available straight away, and you can't put a show on without medics. If we can't sell the tickets, are the boxers going to be ready? Are they going to be fit? Are people going to want to come? Because there's still going to be some concerns about, like Stefy was saying, are you going to be sat next to someone who's potentially got a virus? So
that's scary, isn't it? I just can't see. I mean, the other thing is, and you imagine this: you're putting a boxing show on, and you're asking staff to work there. If one of them goes and gets the virus, could you get done for corporate? And this is, I was chatting to a lawyer the other day. He said you could potentially get done for corporate manslaughter if you ask somebody to work. He said, I'm not saying it would happen. He said, but the ambulance chasers, as in the legal professional ambulance chase, could look and say that's unreasonable. You shouldn't have done it, and you could end up with legal suits. And so it's a difficult thing, I think, going forward in so many different issues.
Yeah, you're right. And obviously the health and safety, or the safety in general, a normal show is paramount. If I make a decision wrong anyway, I can get potential for corporate manslaughter anyway. But yeah, if we I mean, we have to follow the guidelines and everything like that. And if we don't, we would be in trouble. But yeah, like you say, it's even from a business point of view is one thing, but even from a personal point of view, if you've got a member of staff that really doesn't want to work,
you can't make them work.
There's no way you'd be able to force them to. At the last show at York Hall was your show, and we was both talking at night, and we wasn't particularly comfortable ourselves actually being there at that point because we were worried. So yeah.
Do you know that night? This is God's honest truth, right? I was sitting at the front watching the boxing, and I started to feel really ill, and I was burning up. And it was actually a thought that night of being in this venue with what I knew was going on outside with the virus, and I felt uncomfortable there then. I could never go there now. I mean, and I think, we just got to hope they get this vaccine sorted quick. Because once they get the vaccine sorted, I don't think it'll be that long before we can get right back to normal. Because people will want to go out again and enjoy it. I mean, York is the main boxing venue. It has a fantastic atmosphere, but you do need it to get the atmosphere there. You do need it packed. York doesn't work with 400. York doesn't work with 400 people in there. That's for sure. But when it's packed, there's no better boxing venue in the country for sure. So.
No, I mean, you know me. I love it when it's packed. I'm always asking you, what have you done? How many tickets have we got? And it's not just because I want to get the bar income. It's obviously the better the atmosphere is. I mean, been lucky enough to watch some great fights in there. Obviously, when it's been packed, it's obviously a perk of the job, and it is the atmosphere and the noise in there when you've got 1,200 people in there. It is brilliant. Yeah. Can't beat it.
Well, I want to say from all the promoters, that includes all. Yeah, I want to say from all the promoters that use York Hall, thank you so much for everything you do for us, because without you doing and your staff doing such a good job, we wouldn't be able to promote our events there. I want to thank you for coming on tonight, Paul. Do the volunteering work you're doing is fantastic, and stay safe, my friend, and look after yourself, and we'll touch base and catch up soon.
Yeah, brilliant. Stay safe, Steve, and hopefully we'll be back soon.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Paul. Take care, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.